All right, young man, or possibly old man even. I'm not even sure how old you are. I just wanted to let you know that your ass is in a lot of trouble. Anyways, I filed a complaint of harassment against you earlier this week, as a matter of fact, specifically this Wednesday with the LAPD. And the reason being is because, as a result, I'm not going to get into too much detail here, but I've endured a whole lot at your hands as a result. And I plan on also making another video in tandem with this as well, where I try to get your other victims, to go ahead and testify against you as well, because I know that you have a massive amount of victims out there. Now, just to let you know, you're in violation of 18 U.S. Code Chapter 119, which basically states under federal wiretapping law that you cannot, you cannot record a person over the phone without their permission. You need to get their express permission first before you can do it. Your whole channel, your whole YouTube channel is evidence of that. On top of that, you're in violation of 641 PC, which basically is California wiretap law. Now, under federal wiretap law, the U.S. Code Chapter 119, Section 2211. You can go ahead and look this up if you like. I'm not going to, the link's there because I'm not going to. Well, anyways, to make a long story short, under that it carries a federal sentence of 5 years in prison and a fine to not exceed $5,000. On top of that, you can go ahead and look this up. On top of that, under California Code, Penal Code, that is, under California Code 641 PC, that carries a maximum of 1 year in jail and upwards to $1,000 in terms of fines. Now, with that said, the reason why I felt the need to expose you is because, oh yes, I forgot, as well, on top of that, adding to the criminality of the nature of your calls, the context of them. You were calling women up, soliciting them for prostitution. That falls under 647B, Section B, 647B of the Penal Code. And also on top of that as well, and I have evidence of this as well, and the person willing to testify, you've also been calling up people and using spoof numbers of other people's numbers. That can get you into a whole lot of trouble, a whole lot of fines. So on top of that, you're facing harassment, solicitation of prostitution, and spoofing as well, of which your whole entire YouTube channel is evidence of, which is why I made sure to take a screenshot, of course, and record, download that is some of your other videos. So the reason why I'm saying this is because, at the end of the day, you can't go around thinking that you're invincible and you can do whatever the fuck you want. So you got me, and now I'm on your fucking trail, because I'm not going to stop until I get your ass, both criminally as well as civilly. I'm not the type of... Now, one thing I wanted to mention, too, is that I noticed that in your YouTube video, you referred to me as a hairy black prostitute. It seems like what you do is engage in deflection, like a lot of white folks tend to, because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, you were accusing me of racism. First off, racism is institutional. It's institutionalized. The only people who can be racist on this planet are white folks. And I know you're not going to like I just had to say and stuff, whatever, right? But I don't give a fuck, because I believe in putting y'all motherfuckers on blast, or anybody for that matter who does wrong. White supremacy is an institution. Racism is the catalyst. It started and commenced from what is known as white genetic annihilation, which is the behavior that's responsible behind misogyny. Because, see, when the white man stepped out of his caves of Europe, he realized, and he looked forward and realized and saw that he's surrounded by a sea of people of color. And he realized that at the end of the day, if my woman starts to copulate with other members of other races, which is why miscegenation laws used to exist for a reason, pal. He realized that at the end of the day, his race can get wiped out. That's why, for instance, I refer everybody to the ISIS papers. Go look it up. Go look her up as well, Dr. Frances Cress Wells, and go look it up, because it basically illustrates it very well. I don't agree with the homophobia, or even as well the misogyny that's encased in her arguments in it. But for the most part, I agree, and I see that white supremacy comes from white genetic annihilation. Also, ask yourselves these questions. Why is it that he used stereotypical examples of other people's voices? I mean, think about that. Of what he deduces a black man sounds like. Of what he deduces a white person sounds like. It's not the first time this guy has called me either. I know he's called me before in the past, and he called me like a bunch of times well after. And on top of that as well, I noticed that whenever he uses his voice box and stuff, I mean, listen, if somebody posts an ad, no black men, then, just listen. If somebody posts an ad, no black men, first of all, if somebody posts an ad, no black men, what that basically means is don't fucking call them up. If I hear a voice over the phone that sounds like a black person, that's what I'm going to think they are. And you damn right I'm going to fucking go on the offensive, because I hate to say it, and stereotypes are true. There's a kernel of truth to every stereotype, and black men tend to be a lot more aggressive and nasty because of the fact that they have a lot more testosterone. And it's, been proven. It's a scientific fact. It just is what it is. As a result of that, they tend to be a lot more fucking, vicious and capricious and, pushy in the manner of seeking validation from other people. But the reason why black Americans specifically are like that is because of a siege mentality. They have a siege mentality as a result, for the most part, of being oppressed. Part of it is genetic as well. I've even said this in many of my YouTube videos before on other channels, that blacks cannot it's almost like they can't, they don't, and they won't. It's almost as if they're incapable of thinking both critically as well as logically. And that's something that they can improve upon. It's not something where I'm just like, yeah, you can't do this. You can improve upon it. That's why I bring it to your fucking attention. And so, that's why I bring it to y'all's attention. So anyways, saying what I just said here, there's truth to every stereotype. Black men, I have, numerous videos to attest to this as well, are very fucking aggressive. And they're hyper, I don't want to say it's masculine, but it's a hyper form of sort of like misogyny. There's a lot of misogyny that's rife within the black American community. And I can also pinpoint to you as well that the fact that a lot of times you have to come up with shit to get them the fuck out your face. I don't want to, but you have to. Because when I say in my ad, don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. And I got ways of fucking with people, son. I'm not the type of person to be fucking with, just like I'm about to go get your boy here for fucking with other people as well as myself. Since you want to, impose yourself upon my soul, I'm going to go in and destroy your ass, absolutely. Because that's the type of person that I am. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is, it's not out of, people who do wrong, they need to be wronged right back and taught a lesson. That you can't go around fucking with people and thinking it won't come back to you. And see, again, going back to Ownage pranks, I think that he knew that something bad was going to happen on the horizon, because he took that audio, he illegally recorded me back on June, I think it was June of this year, and he waited a whole 2 months or something or whatever, right, to finally upload the recording. And I noticed that he posts fairly weekly as well. I was never a big follower of his, by the way. I listened to other prank videos and stuff, of course, and I found the other prank videos to be sort of somewhat funny. The ones that were done over the phone, but still it's wrong, because legally speaking, under what I just said earlier, you're not supposed to be recording people over the phone without their permission. Again, that carries a sentence of 5 years in prison. Federal and state is 641 PC. That carries about, again, 1 year in jail. And county jail out here is no fucking joke for the men, I can tell you that for a fact. When they place your ass in jail, you're surrounded by a lot of the same fucking cholos. So you sitting up here saying, I'm racist for not wanting to see. It's my fucking body. It's my choice, pal. And at the end of the day, I have the right to choose whoever the fuck I want to let into my body. Again, going back to racism here, at the end of the day, racism is not saying a stupid ass fucking word. Racism, I mean, if you're going to accuse me of being a fucking racist simply because I don't want to fuck or see, and I'm trying to defend myself against litigious ass black and Latino men who refuse to take the fucking answer no as a fucking word as bond, at the end of the fucking day, you might as well say that a gay man is a fucking sexist, misogynistic asshole simply because he doesn't want to fuck women. That's the most ridiculous, ignorant fucking thing in my life that I've ever heard. And at the end of the day, see, white people are very fucking good at deflection. See, he's trying to make it sound like, oh, she's a racist. I can't be fucking racist. I can say stupid shit. Just like everybody says stupid shit. I even had a cracker beast, sitting up here saying, why you're a racist? No, motherfucker, your people started it, bitch. When your people first landed over here in North America, because North America used to belong to the blacks, by the way. We used to own it. We called it Turtle Island. When y'all motherfuckers first came over here, just like the great Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock motherfucking landed on us. When you came over here and tortured us, enslaved us on our own fucking land and oppressed us and set up your institutionalized system of white supremacy, which is worldwide, of course, by the way, that's what started fucking racism. Racism, isn't me. Racism isn't me saying a bad fucking word. Yeah, people can be prejudiced. But racism is when you have the power to put your prejudice and bias into action. Racism is when you deny a motherfucker a job, and it's institutional, where most of the people who are in power, and who are in power structures too, by the way, and don't give me that shit about, Obama. That just shows your fucking racism right there, because at the end of the day, Obama is not black. He is a biracial man. He was abandoned by his black-ass African father, daddy, and he was raised by his white mother. So don't give me that shit about, he's a racist, blah, 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 blah. I mean, don't give me that shit about, he's in power just because you're throwing a few fucking breadcrumbs from the slave master's table here for us to fucking indulge in. That's not fucking power, you asshole. You still run fucking things. We still have to use your language in order to get ahead and succeed. At the end of the day, we still have to abide by white moralistic standards and rules and operate, in ways of doing things in order for us to get ahead. We can't talk the way we do. And notice how in our culture here, they put us down for doing, the same shit that they now want to appropriate. For instance, they used to call rap is crap and associated with fucking rape, saying, just put an E at the end and he'll make it fucking rape. And now they're trying to appropriate that. They're trying to steal that shit away from us. They stole rock from us. Like they stole, rock from us. They took rock from us at one point. That used to belong to us, and then they appropriated it. They used to tell us, excoriate us for having big ass booties and shit. Now they're trying to inject silicone into their asses so they can get the same. See, the white man, he's done played a fucking Jedi mind trick on y'all motherfuckers. Let me tell y'all, a royal mind trick at that. Because at the end of the day, see this white boy who's going around saying, she's a racist, blah, 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 simply because she has a preference. And you really can't call me racist because I'm attracted to, I'm not going to say too much on that. But call me a racist because I have a preference. And y'all dumb niggas, because I hate to say it, most of his fucking followers are dumb as fucking doornails, man. I mean, dumb as fucking doorknobs. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet you I wouldn't bet my next, client's dollar shit or whatever, that half the shit that I'm about to tell you will go well over your fucking head, and you're just going to start spitting into a litany of, you're an ugly bitch, you're a trans whore, and then say all sorts of transphobic comments to combat my so-called accused racism. At the end of the day, like I say, black people cannot be racist. Racism is an institutionalized structure commenced and started by the white man. As a matter of fact, misogyny was started by the white man, so he can own his woman and keep her from proliferating and having sex with other people of other races. So he can keep the bloodline pure. Because, see, again, going back to Dr. Francis Crest, what Welsing was saying about genetic annihilation, the white man knows that the minute people start having that his woman, his white race is going to fucking die out. And they know it's inevitable now because white people are supposed to die out. You hear Dr. David Duke saying this all the time in the year 2050. So now they're trying to co-opt us with our stronger genes so that they can stay in the running here, so that they can stay on this planet Earth here and not die, and at least have some of their genes enmeshed with other races, groups of people. That's why they keep running after these fucking Asians, because that's as close to them as they could possibly get. But the Asians, they got their own agenda going on, so they ain't gonna let that Jedi mind trick that the whites pulled on us be pulled on them. They're a very smart fucking race of people, so they're not gonna fall for the yoke. They're not gonna have it. But you like this, they're not going to have it. That's why you see China fucking exploding. And again, they're going over there and raping Africa's resources, which is what the white man does, which is real fucking racism. Not this whole, she don't want to fuck black men. And then notice that this motherfucker deflects. Again, he uses stereotypical voices of stereotypical people, of stereotypical characters, where he deems that, black men cannot talk. They talk inarticulate like this and speak like that, and really, turn around and then accuse the fucking conveyor who responds to his illegal ass phone calls, which he's recording over the phone, of course, which he's not supposed to be doing, a fucking racist. That's deflection. That's somebody who doesn't want to come to terms with himself. That's why I want to find out who the fuck he is, so I can get this motherfucker both criminally and civilly and sue his ass for damages. Now, with that said, listen, at the end of the day, going back to, let's see, some other things I wanted to, going back to, let's see. I got a lot of bullshit as a result of this. I could, put up with, shit all day long, but it's like at the end of the day, your ass is a fucking criminal. Now, I know you want to say that, well, she's a blah, 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 so, they can, first off, motherfucker, they've already known for fucking years what the fuck I do for a living. Number two, they don't fucks with us unless we're engaged in motherfucking human trafficking. See, the reason why they come after us in the first place is because it's all about the fucking money. It's all about the Benjamins. As a matter of fact, I had a great client who once explained to me that back in I think it was the early 80s, what really distorted and warped and corrupted a lot of these, what do they call them? A lot of these, a lot of these police institutions is that they were told that, yeah, hey, there's economic benefits to being able to confiscate other people's property. For instance, they would go in and make a drug bust, right? And they would confiscate the property, and that property would be in turn used as cash or as assets towards the local government and stuff. It became a cash money business. That's why they bust drug dealers, and that's why they bust hookers / sex workers, because there's a lot of money in it for them to go after us. But they don't really bust the hookers more than they go after who did they call it? The human trafficking rings out here. That's what they solely focus on, because that's where the money is. Those motherfuckers are making money. They know goddamn well I ain't making no fucking money. If I was making money, I damn sure would not be living in this motherfucking abode right here. I damn sure would not be living in this place right here. Fucking devil right there. I damn sure would not be living here. I'd be driving a nice new Mercedes and the whole 9 yards, but I don't think that way. I'm not materialistic like that. If I could fucking thrive and do all sorts of shit, but I'm more of a Venice Beach type gal. I'm more of a Venice Beach type girl. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm strutting. I'm actually very comfortable as long as I can live comfortably off the land or as close to nature as possible. That's where I'm happy at. That's where I'm at my fucking happiest. Now, with that said, they're not going to fuck with me. They're not, because there's no money. So before all of y'all start saying, oh yeah, they're going to blah, 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 I'm not afraid. You've seen my YouTube channels. You've seen me go up, towards them. I even had one say, yeah, I know what you do for a living. It was fucking joke the whole time. So with that said, you can't fucking get me through that area, you see. Because I'm fucking smart. I'm not stupid. I wouldn't be on this planet or doing what I'm doing for a living as long as I've been doing it, if I was fucking stupid. I would have gone in the area of the doldrums and, been fucking murdered, something worse than fucking, rape. I mean, I've had shit happen. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I've had shit happen. I've never been robbed. I'm still here. I'm still talking to you. I'm still alive. Whereas most of them other dumb bitches, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to sit up here and deny the truth about it. Like I said before, there's truth to every stereotype, and a lot of sex workers are some dumbass fucking bitches to boot. Let me tell you, I don't like a lot of them. I can't stand the vast majority of them. I think that they're sick, troglodyte assholes who are just fucking stupid and warped and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just dumb. Lost causes for a lost day. And a lot of it is because a lot of them have emotional, it's kind of like my best friend, for instance, who lives right down the block from me. She's a good friend of mine. She's a very good person to sometimes talk with when she's alert and when she's not on her meds. But when she's on her meds, but when she's on it, she's not the wisest. It almost sounds like you're talking to somebody who's emotionally disturbed, whose emotional rest lies at the level of a 5-year-old child, like they never grew beyond that. And that's kind of like where a lot of sex workers are. A lot of them are fucking dumb to boot. Like I said, I'm not going to lie to you, but that's because a lot of them seek acceptance from other people because they never quite accepted themselves. And I know people, and I know people are like, well, you can't say that you're a sex worker. Well, at the end of the day, just like I don't like it when people say that, oh, what one black person does is a reflection on the whole race and fucking group. I don't like it when people say that I'm a part of a fucking group I never claimed to be a part of. I just do what the fuck I do for a living and I move the fuck on. Same thing with, quote unquote, being black. I had an astral out-of-body experience just recently. That just puts, that just shows you that just puts all this other shit to shame. You realize that at the end of the day, none of that shit matters because your soul is an amorphous fucking blob when you die. That's as close to dead as I fucking got, and I've been trying to get back ever since, but for some strange reason I can't And that's as close to that as you can get. And you see that on the other side, you know, because my entire apartment, by the way, was tinted blue. It was a weird fucking experience to boot. It was all tinted blue. When you're there, you realize that all of this shit that we carry on our backs, our loads, it doesn't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. All this racial, all of that is projecting and looking at things from a 3D, three-dimensional, you know, very... trying to think of that word, very elementary, almost physical material level. I see that, so I'm going to define that person as that, which is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. That's like saying, oh yeah, so we both got pussies, let's go and pussy bump and let's be friends because we're both women and we both got vaginas. That's the stupidest fucking thing to declare that's how you can relate and assimilate to a whole group of fucking people, is to say that, oh, you got the same physical and visual characteristics as me, so that makes us both the same, so we should get along. That's so fucking stupid. I even had a black lady get on here once on my Topless in LA website, of course, and she said, oh, I thought, I'm like, how the fuck do you know, I mean, do you really know me? What do you know about me to know that we can get along and that we'll be alright just because we're both black women in your mind's eye? That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard. That's why I hate it when people say, oh, you hate yourself. What other people do is not a reflection on me based on their skin color alone. They got nothing to do with me. Raven Williams exists in their own fucking space in the bowl. I got nothing to do with that, and they got nothing to do with me. As a matter of fact, as you're going to find out through astral projection when you do it, if you ever do decide to do it, by the way, that is, you see that when you have your out-of-body experiences, you were probably different races in another life. They had a brother, for instance, on here who... seemed like a straight-up ghetto-type motherfucker. I mean, but you could tell he was a very spiritually aware being. But he had a lucid dream where he saw, in one of his past lives, he was a white man. He was a general. And I saw that video. And there's a lot of blacks who, for some strange reason, talk a lot about that stuff. But he was a white male general in another life. That's who he was. And you wouldn't think it by looking at him. That's who you could fucking be. That's why it kills me when I see people... and it's so funny too when they try to deflect and say, oh, look at the racists, they're the ones with the pointy hats. No, the racists are the motherfuckers who you see sitting in corporate America making the decisions and telling, black folks, oh, we can't hire you. I mean, a lot of my past experiences were working in the real conventional working world was, they would get rid of me for the same infractions that other people, namely white people, would do. That's just how it is. Now, that's true fucking power. That's institutionalized racism. That is racism. And that's what that white man is trying to play a Jedi mind trick on y'all all and get y'all to think that, no, that's not racism, blah, 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 blah. Motherfucker, yes it is. That's the pinnacle definition of racism. And all you dumb black ass motherfuckers in an effort to want to be accepted by white folks, because again, I'm going to tell you this point blank, very simple. I'm not the type of person to care about being accepted by any group of people. I've never been that type of person, but most people are. They seek validation from other people because they don't have any validity or, better yet, that is rather whatever. They don't have any confidence in themselves. I do, on the other hand. I think I think highly of me. That's why when people try to attack me and psychic attack me in a manner of, I'm gonna fuck with this, you can't really fuck with me. I mean, everybody knows what I do for a living. Cops know. Everybody knows. On top of that, people know that. People know that, I mean, I have fucking nerves, the confidence of steel, and especially engaged in out-of-body experiences. Of course, you see that none of that shit matters in the grand scheme of things. It never did, none of it matters. It never will matter. And when you take it to the next fucking life, all of that shit, it's just materialistic, physical plane view shit. It's not anything on a deeper level. It's not profound. That's why people can't psychically attack me. When people say things like, oh, well, yeah, I expose myself. And, I mean, you say shit like that to me, I'm secure in my being, in my own person, in myself, to realize that this is just somebody who's coming from a point of insecurity themselves. I'm not going to, let you fuck with me. I'm not going to let you bother me and shit or whatever. That's the type of person I am. I have nerves of fucking steel. I can deal with all sorts of shit. I've been through all sorts of shit. Shit don't faze me anymore. I don't let other people determine my validity for me. That's why I take offense to street harassment and shit or whatever. Because basically it's basing your validity according to what some guy think his dick, should be thinking about you. Like, yeah, here's a compliment. Want some dick? Just like his things. It ain't about, I'm going to make you feel good. Because you would say that shit regardless of how the fuck I look. You wouldn't even be talking about my looks. The real compliment would be something that's based in something that's, subjective, something that's selfless, not, something that's objective, something that, whether it's about, the physical, something that's a selfish act. For instance, you just try and get you some fucking, you try and get your little dick wet, and you think, oh, I'm to the compliment, so it's gonna get your ass the fuck out of my face, nigga. Unless your ass is talking to me with cash, bitch, I don't want to fucking hear it. Talk your ass somewhere else. I even had a motherfucker try to talk to me over the phone, talking about, oh well, thinking I'm one of these white man worshiping bitches. No, I'm not. I'm far from it. That's why I did one of my YouTube videos talking about that. I'm far from it. I don't worship no fucking white man. I don't put no fucking, white man on the pedestal. I don't exalt anybody above me. And that's my mentality, and that's my attitude. And that's the mentality and attitude that a lot of blacks need to start taking on and appropriating as well. In conjunction with trying to, stop trying to seek. And I think this is the main reason why I get black men calling. They want to seek validation from other groups of people. Hispanics are fucking worse. They're the same fucking way. They want to be accepted by the white man. That's why they call us mayates, and then are quick to run after us the minute they get their little feelings hurt, and then told, well, you can't cross over the fucking border, you beaner. A lot of them think that by thinking that they're, better than blacks, of course, by looking down on us and stuff, whatever, they think that's going to give them their get out of jail free card from being brown. No, motherfucker. Look at it like this. At the end of the day, you got like a lot of people from Great Britain, for instance, who are living over here illegally. They're not kicking their asses out, but they're kicking you out. There's a reason for it. Again, it goes back to white genetic annihilation. They know that the more brown people come over here, the more they become a minority, and the more their survival is threatened as a white race. Again, go to Dr. David Duke's channel. He talks about that shit all the goddamn time. Even the enemy is pouncing on it and telling you the truth about himself. That's why I would consider them motherfuckers to be the real racists to watch out for. It's the motherfuckers who sit up here and say, oh, deflect, oh, this racist black, or deflect by saying, oh, this racist white person, let's, get them fired, from saying something that, if anything, is fucking politically incorrect. And it's stupid to fucking boot, and people should not be making a big deal over. People call women bitches all the time, but it's something that's some form, that form of oppression is made a big deal out of, but people make a big deal out about, oh my God, you said the N-word, oh my God. I'm sorry, unfortunately my old ghetto ass fucking phone stopped while I was about to make my point. But like I was saying earlier, yes, you have a culture where basically it's okay to call women bitches and shit, but it's not okay to basically talk smack, talk shit about blacks. Almost as if whites want to inoculate themselves from talking about that, because it forces them in turn to come to terms and come to grasp with their racism, which is something that they really don't want to do. They don't want to lose their white privilege at the end of the day. And that's why they institute all of this. Oh, yeah, don't talk shit about black people. Don't talk shit about black people. And oh, my God, and I especially like it when, for instance, they'll take and turn the fucking tables and make a big deal out of a black person, using the N-word, saying, well, why can't they use it? Why the fuck do you want to use it? Why do you want to fucking use it? That's what you got with Ownage pranks here. This is somebody who's like, he's really a fucking racist himself. Again, going back to the fact that he uses stereotypical voices of ethnicities that he thinks in turn talk like that, and turns it around, makes it sound like the caller who he was calling up over the phone and harassing and recording over the phone, by the way, in violation of 18 U.S. Code Chapter 119. He's projecting. That's the best way I can put it. He's fucking projecting. Now, anyways, getting back to my main point here. As I was saying before, I don't know if I made this point because I was trying to remember everything in which I made in a prior video on here. I don't identify with the feminist movement. The way in which I see it is, while white women were working or begging for the right, that is, or whatever, to work outside the home, black women were forced to work inside their fucking homes and take care of their little cluck-ass kids. And in some cases, take care of their husbands as prostitutes, while the fucking, white bitch just stays comfortably in her motherfucking home. I never associated that shit with being my fucking battle. That's not our fucking battle to boot. Now, I'm not going to lie and deny the fact that there were great added benefits to feminism. Yeah, it brought about abortion, a whole lot, of other things as well as attention to marital rape, and bringing attention to the fact that women are still being treated as if they're men's property. But part of my problem with it is that at the end of the day, white men and white women are going to stick together no matter what. Even this whole thing with, lesbians and gays and shit or whatever wanting to have the right to marry, fucking gay lesbians of gay lesbians of Hispanic origin, fucking gays and shit or whatever, of black, people of color origin. They weren't pushing all that marriage agenda shit. They didn't really give a fuck because they're still, unfortunately striving for acceptance, especially black folks, that is, whatever, right? Striving for acceptance within the so-called black community. But in the process, you got these people here who are just like, how do I say this? You got these people who don't want to lose their white privilege. Again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about institutionalized racism is about white privilege. They don't want to lose their white privilege. As soon as they became gay or turned gay, of course, or whatever, or actually were born that way, as soon as it came out, the fact that they were born that way, and they started getting a lot of ear from their own community about it, because again, it goes back to white genetic annihilation. Whites want to stay in the running as a race of people, and that's why they instituted anti-miscegenation laws, as well as anti-homosexual laws for years because of that. And now they're, but anyways, getting back to it, they lost their white privilege. And so now they're trying to get it back by showing and telling everybody and teaching them that, hey, we're no different from you. We're the same. We're no different. Look at us. We're the same as you. And making a big point about that. Because as soon as they turn gay, they lost it. So they want all the added benefits of their white privilege again. And they see that, gay marriage is one of them. It's a faucet to show, oh yeah, we're no different than the regular white working family. See, we get married like you too, in the whole 9 yards. And there's a lot of racism that goes in that community, with the whites against the blacks. Lie. That they don't talk about, by the way. They don't talk about that part. But anyways, getting back to it, talking about sex work and selective outrage, I find it, it pisses me off. Like I was saying earlier, you can look at movies, and like, let's say for instance, if there were movies that basically catered and showed, blacks being tortured and murdered and shit for being black. You see this go on with fucking movies all the time against women, but nobody raises an ear about that. But if there were movies out here where blacks were getting fucking tortured just for being black, people would make a big deal. And that's what you call selective outrage. And that's the type of shit you see with fucking homophobia in our society. Like, for instance, it's okay to use the fucking F word and call people a fajay. But all of a sudden, it's a big problem the minute you say the N word. Or there's no problems whatsoever if you call a woman a bitch just for not, fucking talk, for merely not even glancing at you, not even glancing in your fucking direction. You can call her a bitch all fucking day simply because she's a female. So gender-based violence is okay. But, oh no, you can't say the N word, and I know why that is. It goes back to the fact that white people cannot use it, and they're oversensitive about the institution of racism now, because they realize that they're on the fucking way out as a race. They're dying out. Again, go to Dr. David Duke's channel. That's all he talks about all the time, is preserving the white race. And so they know that any reflections or any proof whatsoever that shows that they're dying out, that racism exists, they know that the fucking black hordes, so to speak, will start, coming for them and attacking them and shit or whatever. So they had to develop a methodology by which they, in a sense, kind of deflect. Like, hey, we're trying to do something about it, by making a big deal, because we don't want you to attack our asses once we become a true minority in the year 2050. Which is what's inevitably going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's why they're trying to co-opt and use the feminist movement as well as the fucking male patriarchist rights movement, of course, to further divide the black race. So as one white guy said to me, he can allow his progeny to be able to succeed and live into the fucking next level, the next generation that is, or whatever, by succeeding and getting on with somebody with stronger genes than he, and that's the black race. We have stronger genes. But going back to it, another subject in which I want to talk about as well, I don't deal with that feminist shit. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't deal with that. That's a white woman's thing. You know where that shit comes from? Like, let me tell you some, about the whole rescue industry that's being, committed and perpetrated mostly on the actions by white women. See, a lot of that shit, it goes back to fucking slavery. When you hear these white women say, oh, I take issue and offense with, these white men going overseas and sleeping with these little brown fucking machines, as they call us. They fucking derisively and derogatorily speaking call us, refer to us as, especially women in foreign countries like Thailand, shit, whatever. They're not pissed off because of sexual exploitation. They're pissed off because of competition. They're pissed off because their husband doesn't want their white asses, and he in turn wants a little brown fucking machine, and so therefore they're pissed. It goes back to the fucking days of the slave master. That's why I don't see white bitches as our fucking sisters. Not at all. I don't trust them bitches for the life of me, because they're gonna work with their brothers, I guarantee. Like, for instance, back in the slavery days, slavery times and stuff, whatever, slavery times and stuff, during those times, you would have the white woman who knew that her husband was raping the slave so-called mistress. He was taking advantage of her. And watch all these racist motherfuckers come on here and say, oh, it wasn't rape. Yes, it was fucking rape, motherfucker. It was fucking rape. Don't tell me that shit. The minute you own somebody, you treat them as fucking property. They ain't got no fucking right to consent at that punch, your sick ass. I mean, that's the fucked up ass dynamic of fucking white culture and shit. That's that Neanderthal. I think that my personal opinion about them is I think that they are fucking Neanderthals. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's my personal opinion. I think that there's something about those people, because their characteristics and their behavior is not indicative of human beings at all whatsoever. And I'm gonna touch on that more later on. But as I was saying, she knew about it, but instead of going after her white husband in solidarity with the black slave mistress and stuff, whatever, right? Instead, she attacked the black woman for taking her white man. Like, she must have done something wrong. It was her fault. And that's where all this victim blame politics and shit, this slut shaming comes into play. Not only that, they'll co-opt shit that we've been doing for years. Like, for instance, rock. We came up with that. They stole it from us. Rap. They're now trying to co-opt that shit right now. They got Iggy Azalea. What's their name? Forbes magazine introduced her as being the queen of fucking rap. Like, bitch, please get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's why with this toplessness thing, I made sure to do this shit on my motherfucking own. That's why I set up a blog and everything, to let them know that this black bitch is the one who's fucking running this shit, who's doing this shit out in LA and doing it all on her fucking own. Because, let me tell you, what's going to happen is, if a white bitch gets on this shit, just like with the street harassment thing, black women have been calling attention to and complaining about that shit for fucking years, for eons. I remember my mama, for instance, unsettling as it may be of a memory for me, she once told me, oh, baby girl, look down, don't, because black men, again, black men are ultra fucking violent because of a lot of testosterone within them. It's not all racism behind why they end up in fucking jail. She told me, oh, don't look at them, because if you look at them, they're going to think that they own you and want to talk to you. And that's how it is. That's why you have to be violent and aggressive with them right back. That's the only thing black men understand, is violence and aggression and the cops and the popo. And guns as well. That's all they understand. Unfortunately, I think that there's truth to every stereotypes. For instance, it's true about whites. Whites tend to be very Neanderthalic and primitive in an emotional type way towards other beings and stuff on this planet, in that it's all about subjugation and conquering and not just being equal and sharing. And, but going back to it, I remember her telling me this. And so I thought to myself, getting back to it, what I was saying earlier, I'm just making sure this shit's working. Getting back to what I was saying earlier, it's, again, it's true to every, stereotype. I'm so sorry, because I just, here's what I want to say. See, what they'll do is they'll get a pretty little white bitch and put her on the face of the cover and say, yeah, she's the one who's running this topless thing. She's doing this. I had a fucking white black bastard cracker beast. I had to fucking, almost, crack that motherfucker's skull. You wanted to come up to me and ask me in the dress, well, why are you out? Bitch, I'll knock you the fuck out. I got a totally fucking nigga on his ass. Totally. In the New York motherfucking second, too. You got to be like that with them clucker beats, because that's the only thing they understand is violence. That's what they fear. That's what they're scared of. That's why they developed and instituted the motherfucking police force, because that's the only way their asses, punk asses, can stay safe. I mean, think about it. They crossed our lands. They came with fucking guns when we were coming at them with fucking spears. That lets you know what kind of fucking wimps they are. They'll show up with fucking guns to a fist fight, because they can't fucking scrap on their own. They need stronger weapons. The fucking Maoris whipped them in their little guns' asses. And it took them to have to fucking lie and cajole and beg with the fucking Maori, that is, in order for them to be able to ultimately consolidate and take over the island of, what do they call it? the island of New Zealand, to be able to confiscate it. But that's what they'll do. They'll take a white bitch and, I mean, like, for instance, I noticed that one day, I think one of my YouTube videos went viral. I think, well, I actually didn't post this up on there, but I mentioned about it. I noticed that one of my articles on my website, toplessinla.org, that is, I noticed that there was a lot more fucking attention traffic than most. And I realized it's because, you know, some white person saw that video and saw me basically going off and was like, yeah, we're going to put her in the spotlight now. But like I say, that's why I fucking, you know, I mean, in order to make you look like, you know, you fucking crazy and shit. Now, I got droves of videos that basically teaches and explains, you know, shit from a very logical standpoint, you know, very intelligent shit at that. So why pick my most ignorant ass fucking article to portray me as and put me out there? That's why I don't trust white bitches. I don't trust them bitches for life, man. I can't stand them. I'm going to be honest with you. I cannot. I don't trust them. They're worse than the fucking men ever were. And a lot of that comes from that whole Neanderthalic way of thinking. Oh, I got to be ultra competitive. And they envy the fucking black woman because why? We're the genetic corners, the markers that is, for fucking life on this whole fucking planet. They envy that we're the fucking mothers of civilization, that we're the mothers of this fucking earth. They can't be that. They'll never be that. And black don't crack. Whereas on the other hand, when you see these white bitches, they start to look like they in their fucking 50s when they 25. Look at Britney Spears. That bitch old looking as a motherfucker. She look like a stinky weasel teeth. That bitch ancient. Even the worst black crackhead motherfucker looks better than her. But, you know, they call us fucking crackheads and, you know, use our fucking skin color. I'm so fucking pissed off right now. It's not even funny. But that's why I don't trust them bitches. I used to see them on my Twitter. Not one of them offered, you know, press attention or anything like that about my whole topless protest. But instead, they were like, well, dismissive. Like, the only person who covered my story was a Latino man. That's why I say, I mean, all of this shit about, oh, Latinos, blah, 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 blah. You know, people need to kind of stop that shit. You know, now this whole divide. You know, Latinos need to stop this shit about hating the blacks, and the blacks need to stop this shit about, oh, just fucking, you know, and trying to unite with the white man to keep them the fuck out. The reason why the white man wants them the fuck out of their own country, by the way, which they used to fucking own, because parts of this was part of Mexico, by the way, and the Mexicans are indigenous here, and also the Olmecs as well, who are black, and they don't like to own that. But the reason why they don't want their asses here, like, let me tell you something. Get this. Check this out. You got about a whole lot of people from Great Britain, for instance, right, living over here legally. They ain't trying to kick them motherfuckers out because they white. But they kicking your brown ass out. That's your nigga wake-up call right there. They kicking your brown ass out, your Latino ass out, but they ain't kicking their clucker beast asses out. Why is that? Because genetic annihilation. It goes back to what Dr. David Duke and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing were explaining in the ISIS papers, in her report, the ISIS papers, that is, that at the end of the day, you know, white people, all of these things, anti-miscegenation, which basically means interracial marriage and all that stuff or whatever, they tried to block that shit because they knew that that meant the end of their white genetic survival. The minute they start to copulate with other races of people. See, I'm dropping some knowledge on y'all that you ain't gonna get from that Ownage prank shit. That stupid shit where he's illegally calling people up and prank calling them. I'm dropping some knowledge on y'all motherfuckers. You know, my sisters and brothers out here. But that's where a lot of that shit goes back to. That's why they kicking y'all asses out. And they showing y'all nigga wake up call. Y'all keep thinking, oh, we close to white. Let's keep calling them mayates. Which is the Latino word, Hispanic word that is Mexican, you know, for nigga. The N word. They kicking y'all asses out. They letting you know what the fucking time of the day. Because they don't want the eradication of their race to occur. But they realize they can't stop the tide, which is why they're just starting to make love with us anyways and produce kids. Because they know they're, genetically speaking, not going to survive. And they don't want to be the minority either. And y'all the motherfuckers are making them the minority every step y'all take. Every step you take when you cross that motherfucking border by the Rio Grande. They don't want that shit. That's why they trying to kick y'all motherfuckers out. But see, I don't trust them white bitches. Like I said, I would see these motherfuckers on there. People from fucking, they had one bitch named Tina. I forgot who the fuck she was. She was somebody on the SNL. Started following my Twitter. I kicked that bitch right the fuck off. I don't have no white bitches on my thing. I keep white bitches from following me. Because like I say, they'll steal your shit, co-opt it, and put a white bitch's face on it. That's what the fuck they do. That's what they did with rock music, and that's what they damn sure are doing right now with fucking rap, with that ugly ass Iggy Azalea looking and the underdog K Beast bitch. K bitch. Clucker bitch. Like I say, they worse than the men ever were. When I got that shit happen to me up in New York in the Bronx, guess what? It was a fucking Latino man who was like, you know, police officer that is too. He tried to help me. He tried to give me some directions and shit. And it was a white clucker beast bitch, aided by a white clucker beast ass district attorney, who basically tried to shut down my case because, of course, black women can never be the fucking victims of rape and shit. Because they otherize and exoticize our bodies worse than their white men ever fucking did. At least their white men are up front. But then they come at us with this whole symbolic, oh, we're supposed to stick together, feminists. Bitch, fuck you and feminism. I don't get down with that fucking shit. Black women, we got our own motherfucking agenda. Stop dividing our fucking communities by bringing your white pathologies into our motherfucking shit. Y'all with that misogynist shit, the men that is and whatever, rather, and y'all fucking bitches with y'all fucking feminist shit. We never fucking need that shit. As a matter of fact, we need emancipation from y'all motherfuckers, because y'all the ones doing the fucking oppressing. You right along with your KB ass fucking men. That's how the fuck I feel. And y'all motherfuckers can't stay the fuck away from us, because again, it goes back to co-opting. I remember, for instance, when I was at a sex workers' rights conference. I'm going to talk about them bitches later on, too. I was at a sex workers' rights conference, right? And so they had some fucking cluckabees that got up there and say, yeah, let's run free like the natives. Let's run around naked. You know, like, in other words, have no moral restraints and character. And they had a Native American woman who actually spoke up and said, listen, I'm opposed to this shit. Why the fuck y'all gotta say it? And they shouted her down for being politically correct and too fucking sensitive. That's why I can't stand the sex work community. I hate them bitches with a passion. The only ones I can get down with are the ones who work the streets and shit, whatever. Again, white bitches done conquered that shit. I can't stand them fucking bitches. I fucking, oh God. Oh Lord. They came in and fucking co-opted that shit. You know, pretty much. And pushing their fucking agenda. Because, see, at the end of the day, it's not about, yeah, let's help the sisters on the fucking street and shit or whatever. It's about, I mean, you got the fucking tricks and stuff, you know, who don't want to fucking go to jail. And that's why they get involved. Or they'll go to them fucking conferences because they want to get some easy pussy. Because let me tell you something about sex workers, the mentality of a lot of them. A lot of them motherfuckers are incongruous with themselves. They don't know themselves. Both black and white, Asian, Latino, all that shit. They don't know themselves. When you're around somebody who doesn't know themselves, you have a lot of fucking insecurity issues to boot that you got to deal with when you're dealing with those people. It's like, for instance, my emotionally traumatized friend who lives down the street from me. She has the fucking brain. The way she acts like is like a 5-year-old. Yes, her comprehension's pretty fucking high. Yeah, she can understand what the fuck I'm saying when I'm telling her shit, but it's just like when you talk to her, it's like she's in another fucking plane of existence, like she's on another fucking level. Like she's having a fucking out-of-body experience while talking to me, like, what the, you know, like this deep, profound shit I'm talking about right now would go well over her fucking head. She would just be like, I can't even have like a really strong intellectual conversation. Sometimes there's peaks of knowledge that can arise and come from out of her and out of her head and stuff, whatever. But for the most part, no, it's just like talking to you better off talking to a fucking brick wall. You better off doing that. That's how it is, you know, like talking with her. But a lot of them are emotionally, you know, I mean, let me preface this before I say this. There's truth to every stereotype, right? But most women do face some form of sexual violence. Just because you're a sex worker doesn't mean that your occupation is symptomatic of the fact, the notion that you may not have been able to overcome, you know, serious issues in your life. You have women, for instance, who are nurses who can't get over getting raped or who have serious traumatic issues. As a matter of fact, I would say that it's a fucking sign of, you know, triumph and overcoming it, because you're like, I'm not going to let this motherfucker dictate what my sexuality should be and what my sexual attitude towards myself and my body, because a lot of rape victims afterwards start to feel, you know, like they did something wrong, they did something dirty, or, you know, child, you know, abuse survivors. They start to feel like, oh, you know, something ain't right, something wrong. And, you know, and a lot of them are like, I'm not going to let you dictate my sexual behavior for me simply because of what the fuck happened. Now, some of them become overly sexualized, you know, overly sexual because of sexual abuse and trauma. You know, it's like their attempt to try to reclaim it, but that still shows a fighting spirit, a fighting mentality. Now, at the end of the day, I mean, contrary to what y'all fucking believe, sex work is no different than fucking renting a girlfriend for the hour. That's basically what you're doing. It's like psychiatry, for instance. You're just fucking renting a goddamn friend for an hour. Whereas in sex work, you're renting a motherfucking girlfriend. Except you're paying the bitch up front. You ain't fucking giving her money for meals and shit. And I want to hear all of this fucking rapist victim blaming, all of this shit, from people who like to justify it by saying, oh, sex work, it's good because, it stops rape. I don't want to hear, people say that shit, because at the end of the day, rape is an act of fucking violence. It's got nothing to do with sex or the sexual availability of a woman. And I take issue with the fact that somebody would correlate it as such by saying that, by basically making that connection. And sex workers, yes, can get raped as well, contrary to popular fucking belief. Sex workers can get motherfucking raped. Shit happens. But I don't like a lot of sex workers, because a lot of them, I hate to say it, they're not very bright people, first off. And number two, it's like they want to take on the attributes of the abuser. For instance, Norma Jean Moldaver, she was a major activist, big time, out here in the state of California. And they actually locked her up, too. She was an ex-LAPD cop, transition whore. And she wrote a book basically exposing all sorts of shit about the LAPD. And they locked that poor woman up. And, I think she done... poor little thing, she done lost her mind since then. But anyways, to make a long story short, I remember communicating with her once on the topic of sexual harassment, street harassment. She was like, well, it's a compliment. And it's like everything about her was like taking on the pseudo male facade of how she think men act and be like. And I think, like, for instance, she was like, oh, no, I don't like kids, I can't stand them, and I like to build things, like just taking on the attributes of what a man is accused of having, right? And it sounds to me like she was trying to take power, and a lot of sex workers tend to do that as well. It's like a topsy-turvy thing where they want to reclaim the power that they claim that they got and stole from them, and shit or whatever, from their fucking clients, their clientele, by being more like the fucking man. Like, I'm a man, and that's like their power spirit, being more manly and showing I'm not a little vulnerable, small female. Bitch, you suck dick. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just be you. Or they'll go into this, it's all fake and corny. It's like they adopt a personality that isn't them. A lot of them don't act like themselves. They act like, I hate to say this, constantly consenting sex vessels. I saw it when I went to a sex workers' rights conference a long time ago in the state of Nevada in Las Vegas, where you had women who were just like, I swear them bitches were doing coke as well. They were just like, their whole way of thinking was just, it was just fucked up, beyond repair. Like, the way they acted, it was just so fucking fake, like exuding a fake form of sexuality. It wasn't sensual. Like, for instance, I had a motherfucker come in recently telling me, oh, could you tell me? I'm like, I don't fucking talk. Bitch, I don't get down like that when I'm having my motherfucking sessions. Could you talk to me? Tell me about the nastiest thing. Bitch, I don't get, listen, I'm not going to be fake with you. If I don't feel something, bitch, I don't fucking feel something. I don't get down with that type of shit talking nasty to you. Nigga, you paying me to be your motherfucking girlfriend for the hour, not your motherfucking slave. See, people don't understand. That's the key difference. Like I pointed out with psychiatry, just as you paying the motherfucker to be your goddamn friend for an hour, you paying the bitch as a sex worker to suck your dick and do all those things as your girlfriend for the hour. She ain't your motherfucking slave, though. If a motherfucker rolls up and he was promised anal, of course, and she said, I don't do no anal, just take part of your money and shit or whatever, let her do the rest of this shit and walk the fuck on out once you done. And you have a lot of these women, though, who take on this almost coy, childlike, submissive mindset. It's a weird fucking dynamic to boot. And then the ones who want to be strong, they take on the mentality of men. It's very fucking weird. It's very fucked up to boot. It's kind of like somebody expressed a long time ago about, like, let's say, for instance, with cops, right? Cops, they see the seedier, they see the worst side of humanity. I used to see that in my father, for instance. He would come home and he would scan the room and, like, let's say, for instance, he would not come home, right? But, like, we would go out to a restaurant. He would sit way in the fucking corner and just observe people. And I have a tendency to observe as well. I don't know if I inherited it from him or what, but he would just sit there and just look. Because he was distrustful. Because in your job as a, cop, you're told, you got to enforce the law, man, even if you don't agree with it. Even if it's the motherfucking slave codes, you got to enforce the motherfucking law. So he enforced the motherfucking law, even if he disagreed with it. That was his job. And I think with a lot of sex workers, because they see the worst side of men a lot of times, because I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say, oh, yeah, clients are just, Yeah, it's true. You get a lot of bigoted, misogynist assholes in this industry. I've seen them before, and I fucking ran their asses up the street promptly. Just as well as you can see nice guys, but I tend to attract the nicer guys because I'm fucking real, and people know it when they come through that door, whereas most women are like all coy, and they'll talk like like a little girl over the phone, basically exuding or appealing to somebody here who'd want to come in and rob and rape and dominate your ass and beat your motherfucking ass. Because, like, I don't have to take, concern of some emotionally immature ass fucking woman who's trying to act all childlike and servile towards me just to get my money and attention. I could treat her like shit. That's the type of shit, the energy that they attract by being like that. Like when you call me up over the phone, for instance, I'm very fucking real. I'm straight to the motherfucking point. I mean, I may not, my voice don't modify. You see my hair the way it looks right now. I look like fucking dreads, by the way, because I tried to bleach that shit and, it just has a weird effect. So I'm going to have to comb my shit out because I don't want my shit to be all dreaded up. But, it's like, it's like a weird sort of sexuality. It's very fucking weird to boot. I can't explain, I can't describe it. I cannot put my fucking fingers on it. I don't know what the fuck it's all about with them, but it's just, that's the type of motherfuckers that they get. And so, a lot of times, I mean, like I say, when I was at that sex workers' rights conference, it's like they take issue. They believe in sexual freedom, and that basically bars, hinders any barrier, whatsoever, be it, barriers or like, let's say, for instance, getting consent, with regards to your, for people to touch you or, shit concerning your boundaries. It's like they have none. It's the weirdest fucking thing. And they'll cite anything that, like if you speak up about racism and shit, like if you, like for instance, going back to how they fucking basically dehumanized Indians by saying, by correlating their ones walking around nude and shit, of course, or whatever, right? With somehow being wild and free, meaning they ain't got no fucking humanity left inside. They're a bunch of savages to boot. That's what the fuck they were saying. That's the sick ass white, male dichotomy that fucking came into play with the rape of my slave ancestors. They went over they came over here, conquered us, and went over to Africa also as well, and looked at them and determined that, because the Africans are running around butt-ass naked and shit, they're savages. They're not human. They don't deserve, any rights, no respect whatsoever. In that they're constantly consenting sexual vessels, and that they're these overtly sexual objects, who are just always craving for fucking rape and sex. That's the fucking fucked up ass mindset. That's why I'm doing this toplessness shit, because, that's the problem with the Eurocentric mindset point of view. That's their morality. Their whole thinking is, if you're walking around, they're butt naked. Nudity automatically to them means sexual availability. And that's the sick ass white people mindset that white people tend to have. And that's the shit I'm trying to break with this. That's why when people talk to me about it, I always say I'm bringing this shit right back to Africa or North America, which is where the first blacks, the first blacks were from. The first people over here were black, by the way. So anyways, getting back to it, talking about this more in depth, you see this shit where it's like they have no fucking self-esteem as well, because they have identity issues. They don't know themselves. They're not comfortable. Like, for instance, I had this bitch by the name of Tristina Mills who wanted to be my friend. Now, I'm the realest motherfucker on the planet. I'm one of the realest motherfuckers you'll ever get to know, right? And this bitch wanted to be my friend. I looked at her whole Twitter profile, her whole profile online. She was like, oh, I'm just a freak. And you could tell it was all fake. It was a cry for help. It was like the little girl that runs around and sleeps with a whole lot of motherfucking boys and shit or whatever. Not because they really enjoy it and shit, but just to impress the boys and get their acceptance. That's her. And I can't stand a bitch like that. I can't stand a motherfucker like that. And she was black as fuck. And conventionally speaking, she wouldn't be seen as a pretty girl. I thought she was a very attractive young lady. But this poor young lady here, I mean, she grew up, from what I understand, in foster care and all sorts of different homes and shit. So, I mean, you're dealing with somebody who's just fucking lost, who's just animalistic, who's exuding a false sense of sexuality because they seek acceptance and crave, acceptance from other people. And that's how they are. And that's how she was. And I looked at her and I said, bitch, don't you ever come up to me with that fake gay shit. I don't play that fake gay shit. I'm not on that fake gay shit. I'm not on no gay shit, period. I have nothing against that. That would be crazy for me to. As somebody, who is the way I am, I don't play that shit. Don't come up to me when you know goddamn well I don't play that shit. What the fuck would even make you come up to me? Which is the question I really pose to myself. Like, what is it about my energy that attracted this bitch? Like, is it the realness, of course? Like, for instance, when somebody sees somebody is happy, you get the most miserable motherfucker that wants to attach themselves to that person. Or like, for instance, when you do astral projection, when you be out of your body and shit, of course. You be out of your body, right? And when you're out of your body, you get negative ass spirits that want to linger around. It's just negative ass energy that's attracted to the light. And you got to run that motherfucker off with a can of Raid the minute they're attracted to your motherfucking light, which is why I did that pitch and I posted some shit about her ass that was truthful, by the way. Now, getting back to it, I was just like, no, this bitch, she gotta fucking go. So, turn this shit down. I don't know how the fuck. But that's how a lot of sex workers are. Like I say, there's truth to every stereotype. Black, especially black men. I mean, I can't tell you how many times they're highly fucking aggressive. Again, it goes back to an increase in testosterone. Like, for instance, when I was at the courthouse once, I saw a black guy lingering over this black woman's shoulder, pretty much practically almost on fucking top of her. He might as well have been on top of her, following this girl around, demanding and asking her, why you don't want to talk to me? And it was obvious he knew she didn't want him. And I had to step in. He threatened to sue me just for fucking... And they don't even think what they do is sexual harassment. They don't even think that sexual assault is sexual assault. No does not mean no to them. That's why I'm super hard, because the only thing that black men tend to understand is fucking guns and fucking threats of violence or being locked up by the popo. That's the only fucking things they understand and respect. You got to realize when you're dealing with a fucking animal, you got to meet them on animalistic terms, and you got to deal with them in the same fucking way you would with a fucking animal out in the wild. I hate to say it, but they put themselves out there like that. That's why I wanted to say earlier, yeah, there's a system of white supremacy. Yes, we must bring that shit down, but blacks need to come to terms with a lot of the fucking behaviors that causes people to think of them as animals as well. I hate to say it. People don't want to own up to it, but it's fucking true. And that's why people want to shun my fucking voice, because I tell the fucking truth. I tell inconvenient facts that, I mean, listen, the white man, if he fucking loved you, he'll tell you straight the fuck up. Listen, here's the fucking problem, blah, 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 blah. But he wants to maintain his white privilege, so he's not going to tell you the fucking problems with yourselves. He's not going to tell you and break it down for you and tell you, listen, y'all need to start critically thinking. You have a lower capacity for it, but you can do it. You need to start critically thinking, building up your communities, blah, blah, blah. Instead, they just send you away by telling you, oh, we're going to make this white man apologize. I mean, look at the NFL, for instance. All them motherfuckers with all that goddamn money. You can't tell me that these niggas can't get together and start their own shit. But I know where a lot of that shit comes from. A lot of that shit comes from, I don't think it's a genetic predisposition towards hypermasculinity. I think where it comes from is, it comes from general fucking insecurity and an inferiority complex caused by siege mentality. Because when you as a group of people have faced a whole lot of fucking tortures and shit or whatever, at the hands of, oppression, be it white supremacy or what the fuck ever, else it is that's oppressing you, you tend to take on this mentality of the whole world is against you. And that's what blacks have. That's what they got going on, this whole mentality that the whole world's against me. And I need to seek other people's favor and validity. I mean, I grew up, with blacks telling me that, oh, white people, they do it better. Their stores are better. They're, just low fucking self-esteem. I remember, for instance, growing up as a little kid, when I was out in East New Orleans, my mom made a point of shopping in all black areas because she was like, listen, I don't believe in, giving all these white people who don't do anything for us, by the way, any motherfucking money. I mean, those weren't her exact words, but she was trying to teach me the power of supporting your own. She had a black man who basically mowed her lawn. She didn't believe in I'm going to get some other motherfucker. And the guy was very professional. She brought her watermelons, for instance, from a little black man who used to sell it as a vendor, right, on the side of the street. She taught me the power of economics and how to support your own people. And that's the problem with most blacks. Blacks don't have that mentality. They just think in terms of, oh yeah, let me go, the white man, their shit's better. And it's better because y'all make it fucking better. Y'all go, and when there's white flight, y'all don't want to support that shit anymore. Y'all keep running towards people who don't want to have anything to fucking do with you. White people don't like y'all black asses, and y'all need to come to terms with that. They don't, because of white genetic annihilation, because what's contained in the black man's testes and what's contained in the black woman's womb is the fucking secret, the antidote to their fucking genetic annihilation right there. They don't want it, because you threaten their genetic survival. They're not about that shit. That's why they separate themselves from you. And looking at it from a bioevolutionary standpoint, I really can't fucking blame them. Not because, oh, blacks are violent, blah, 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 blah. Not because of that. It's because they want to preserve their race. And I can't blame them. I understand why. You know, blacks have this inferiority complex where they think even the shit that they make is inferior, and that's a fucking shame, and blacks got to get out of that mentality. I think the reason why they harass me over the phone is because they figure that, oh, well, if she's only good enough to see white men shit, whatever, I should be able to have a hand in that, because then they'll validate me and my status in life as a black man and prove that I'm just as worthy of a white man of getting into this, you know, exclusive brown woman's pussy who's only fucking white man, everybody but a fucking nigga. And the reason why with Latinos got that same mentality too. They got that same ideology. They really want to be accepted by white people. They make that shit overt. You see it in their motherfucking telenovelas. I mean, the country of Mexico is like, what, 98% fucking Latino, Hispanic, indigenous? But most of the motherfuckers you see on TV are bitches from Ireland, Spain. White as a motherfucker, looking as fucking white as this goddamn white wall here. It was kind of dirty. But you see it. You get the picture. That's what the fuck you got going on. You got these people who they want to attach themselves with the whites, so they put down the blacks. And then will only align themselves with us when they're fucking being threatened with this whole immigration shit. You know, which again, y'all motherfuckers getting y'all fucking nigga wake-up call, because you know what? Guess what? I had a client, right, tell me that you got a whole lot of people from Great Britain living over here, illegally. Whole lot. But they ain't kicking their asses out. They kicking y'all motherfucking asses out. For a reason. It's because you threaten their white genetics annihilation. You threaten their white genetic survival. They don't want that, so they kick y'all asses the fuck out, because y'all are making them a fucking minority. That's why they're going to be out in the year 2050. Because y'all motherfuckers are making them a minority with your steady numbers and coming over here illegally. They don't want that. And that's why they don't want it. And that's why they don't want to claim you, ever. With y'all brown asses selves thinking, oh, I'm white. I had one motherfucker, for instance, looking at this. Aztec as a motherfucker. You know, talking about, I'm white. Bitch, no you ain't, motherfucker. Why are you begging white people? I mean, I even had one who looked straight up fucking indigenous saying, oh no, I'm not from Mexico, I'm from Spain. Bitch, your motherfucker look as fucking Olmec and Aztec as the fucking day is long, nigga. Get your ass the fuck out of here. Be proud of who the fuck, I'm not going to say be proud, but accept. It's so hard to say, because I don't believe in this whole racial identity you have to claim and be, you know, after that out-of-body experience, I was a fucking amorphous blob when I left my fucking body. When I saw myself, it was connected to a silver cord and everything. I'm an amorphous fucking blob. There was no race. None of that shit really mattered. You know, you see strange, weird, wonderful creatures also in that realm too. I got to astral project again so I can be able to see all of that stuff and whatever. But it's got nothing, you know, all of that shit, it's got nothing to do with that. So I don't want to say, well, he ought to be proud to be Aztec. But I mean, listen, don't try to be something. Whether you are that thing or not, don't try to be something else just because you feel inferior about where it is or who it is that you come from. Don't do that shit. That's as fucking fake and phony as these bitches who be like these sex workers, you know, who are all like, yeah, I'm so, you know, I'm so sexy, and putting on a fake veneer facade of like enjoying it and being this constantly consenting sex vessel who needs the approval of men all the time, 24/7, and then wants to act like a fucking man and adopt the features and roles of being masculine so that they can have their power place to resort to. I don't play that shit. I don't like fake ass people. I can't be around that. I'm too fucking real for that shit. That's why I work for myself now, and that's why I'm proud of what it is I do for a living. People can't attack me. People can't force me to wear a mask. I mean, you can report me all you want, but who the fuck you gonna report me to? I mean, my red book, unfortunately, they shut my red book the fuck down. As a matter of fact, going back to what I was going to say, the Ownage breaks here, you know my red book, right? I mean, again, that's an explicit example of how they don't really fuck with us unless there's money involved. I mean, you read the indictment, for instance, right? Against my red book, it's all about money. It's not about, oh, child prostitution. They just mentioned that one fucking line. The rest is they were stealing money from us. You know, the government wasn't getting this fucking, you know, money. You know, they weren't getting their motherfucking cut. That was what that whole my red book shit was about. It wasn't about anything else but that fucking noise altogether. And so with that said, you know, that's why, I mean, I don't, you know, when people are like, I mean, because I know some people are going to be like, oh, she has an Afro consciousness, but she's calling blacks violent, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm just calling y'all asses out on what the fuck I see it, you know, on what the fuck I see it as, on what the fuck I see it, you know, on what it is. At the end of the day, I want to call shit out because I want to help. I'm not out here to hurt. I'm not out here to be your motherfucking friend and tell you in a nice fucking way this is what the fuck it is. Bitch, if you can't take the fucking truth from me, nigga, keep it fucking moving. I ain't got time for it. And I'm not going to tell it to you in a nice, articulate... I'm not that type of person. I'm not fake. The way in which I talk with you right now, for instance, I talk like that with every fucking body. I don't hold shit back. I'm not like one of these people who's like, oh, I gotta, prove to myself and seek people. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I'm the most politically incorrect motherfucker you come across, and I'm telling you the fucking truth right now. So take it or leave it. But getting back to it, that's why you got all of this shit going on, with, sex workers and stuff. All of this stuff, concerning race and everything. It's really fucked up. There was also something else I wanted to kind of touch on as well. I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was, what it was all about. It's about to turn dark as a motherfucker out here right now. But basically, I also wanted to mention, too, that in the grand scheme of things, you see, you have all of these people, you got identity, people wanting to claim you and shit, identity politics. I'm an individual. I'm an individualistic, I have a very individualistic like thinking. I think outside the box. That's why a lot of people can't stand my ass, because I don't fucking think within the fucking, the cloud here, the fucking matrix. I don't just melt into and just agree just to go along and get along with other people. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me or not. I mean, that's why when people, for instance, like that guy whose pictures I'm going to show at the end of the fucking video here, when they tried to attack me and shit or whatever, it's like I got nerves of steel. You really cannot fuck with somebody who's just, who knows everything and knows what everything's all about, who understands things at a deeper level than most people do. As a matter of fact, going back to it, I'm probably the truest representation of a whore you'll ever meet, because you know what? Whore actually derives from the word horoscope, and whores were women who sat in the temples of ancient Egypt, who not only gave sexual favors, but also horoscopes to men as well, hence the word whore. And given my psychic talents and shit or whatever, my ability to see things, have out-of-body experiences spontaneously, I'm kind of fucking on that level. It's, the wisdom, the intelligence that I have, it's almost unearthly. It's not earthly. I can't explain it. That's why when people are like, you're smart, it's a certain smartness that transcends this world. It's not an intelligence that's of this world. It's not a smartness, a brilliance that's of this world. It's not like, oh, she can, spell, and she can, do 2 + 2, It's not about, it's 2 + 2 = 4. It's not about that. It's an unearthly presence about me. It's an unearthly intelligence. I cannot put my finger on it. It's not like I don't feel like I'm of this world. That's why I want to fucking astral project, so I can get off this motherfucker for a bit and see other places beyond this one, and feel inspired and renewed, because it's so draining being around all these low vibratory motherfuckers all the time. It's like you see the worst of the fucking YouTube comments from the most insolent, non-thinking, because I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers who follow this guy, whatever, right? I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers cannot think, and y'all can't think any deeper than the pond, and most of y'all are kids anyway, so y'all really, unless you're fucking psychic and you're wise beyond your years, y'all really don't know shit. Y'all would just fucking mutter and say shit, because I don't believe in just saying that, oh, somebody's a fool because of their age. You got old fools too. My friend, again, emotionally scarred. I had to stop her once, for instance. She'll walk up to fucking people's cars and, smack on them and shit, hit on them. And this bitch is about 50 fucking years old, almost in the process of getting harmed by a motherfucker, by one as well, by a motherfucker. I have to tell her to stop that shit, simply because she thought that they were about to run her ass over. Like, bro, don't, the fuck wrong with you? You're gonna get your ass whipped. It's like, but I know, and then always try to fucking backtrack. Like, just, I can't be around certain people for too long because I just get irritated. This is why I use YouTube and talk to it on here, because I feel like I don't really get to express these thoughts in the real world, because most people are just, even the so-called intelligent ones, they're just, their brainwaves, it's just, their level of thinking is about as deep as a pond. Even the ones who are successful by materialistic means and standards, their thinking tends to not be any fucking deeper or further than just, 2 + 2 = 4, but still at the same time, wisdom, is not their strongest point. I saw that with a client once who, he was just white boy too. obsessed with breasts. Came in here, and I think this was a while back, and just no fucking, he was intelligent, he was successful in his area on a materialistic plane, but he wasn't wise. He didn't have wisdom about him. You know, people like that, they irk, they bother me. You know, it's like my whole thing, my whole testament to my, you know, my whole thing surrounds, you know, surrounds itself by how much, you know, bling I got, how much money I got in the bank. I mean, you can't take that shit with you when you go to the other fucking side. I saw that when I had my out of body experience, and I'm seeing, you know, shit already, you know, ghosts, you know, shadows and shit. It's scary. But anyways, to make a long story short, yeah, bro, Ownage, I'm coming for you, because you can't go around fucking with people and think you ain't gonna run into the wrong person, because you know what they say? When you keep fucking with people, you know what they say? You're gonna run into the wrong person eventually. Well, I am that wrong motherfucker. Anyways, peace, bro. Have a good day, and I'm coming for you, both criminally and civilly as well. Peace, bye.